After having hundreds of conversations with atheists, skeptics of the Christian faith, and many others on his popular radio program, Unbelievable, based out of London, England, and heard all over the world via podcasts and the internet, radio host Justin Brierley has written a book after the program, and it's called Unbelievable: Why After 10 Years with Talking with Atheists, Am I Still a Christian? Justin, welcome to 100 Huntley Street.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Now, I'm a regular listener, so I need to disclose that right away. I came across your podcast a number of years ago, and I would highly recommend it. And I'll also admit the conversations go deep and sometimes over my head. You're a wonderful moderator, especially when things get tense. But why write the book? You got a great radio program. Why did you want to get the book out there?
Well, I'm just aware that, as you know, as a listener, there's obviously a lot more people out there who haven't heard of the show, haven't come across it, and I wanted to broaden the audience. And in a way, I've always been the person, if you like, moderating these debates between Christians and non-Christians for over 10 years now. And I thought it might be interesting for some of the listeners to know where I stand on some of the issues, because I try to have a very neutral presence and give a fair hearing to both sides. But in all of those years of hearing some serious objections from atheists and skeptics and some of the leading minds in the world, I've actually come to the conclusion that Christianity is still an amazing explanation of life, the universe, and everything. And so it's really my attempt to put that down in words and share it with other people.
Now, does it go back to your university days when maybe you felt that your Christian faith was being attacked, and that would eventually lead to the radio program? And, you know, that is Christianity able to, withstand the scrutiny?
Absolutely, because I very much came to faith through a spiritual experience in my late teens, but that wasn't something I could really show anyone else. You know, they hadn't had the same experience as me. So some of my skeptical friends soon began asking, well, have you got any reasons for me to believe, Justin? And especially that was true at university. I went to Oxford University, a lot of very bright minds there, and of course a lot of skeptical, inquiring minds. And so it was then that I started to discover what, has the technical term apologetics, the defense of the Christian faith. And it's a way of really being able to show that it's an intellectually credible option, Christianity, that you don't have to put your brains in the dustbin in order to believe. And what I quickly discovered is that there are some really good answers to some of the big questions out there. And that really, in the long run, led me to starting a radio show and a podcast where I brought together some of the brightest minds on both sides of the debate in order to facilitate those discussions and show, I hope, that Christianity certainly can stand on its own 2 feet intellectually.
Yeah, because I know a lot of Christians will say, well, I have faith, that's enough. But you talk about things like fine-tuning, and you deal with it in your book and on your program. For me, that's, I think, expanded my understanding of who God is. Have you found that yourself as well, Justin?
For sure. I think I began, with an idea that God was just something where I kind of had faith, and in a sense it was something I had to just invite people to experience in a kind of spiritual or emotional way. And then I realized actually God in his grace has given us all kinds of physical evidences for the fact that he is the one who created this universe. And you've given the example there of the fine-tuning of the universe, this extraordinary phenomenon, which has only really been revealed in the last 50 or 60 years, that there's this kind of set of fundamental constants and quantities that inform the very earliest stage of the universe's development, which have to be so incredibly finely tuned to allow for any kind of life to develop in the future. And what you realize when you look at these extraordinary numbers is this can't be a result of chance. It just doesn't make any sense to believe that we're here just randomly without any particular purpose. And for me, there are that, among many other things, are signposts, if you like, to a mind behind the universe, that there really is a reason for us being here. And I think those can just be a gateway for some people who are maybe really skeptical of faith to actually open their mind to it. And we're not necessarily going to convince people with arguments alone. It has to be something that happens in the heart. But arguments can be a gateway to saying there's enough evidence here for you to take this seriously.
Well, I know listening to your program, as I often do on airplanes as I'm traveling around the world, around the country, and it gets me thinking. It's one of those things that I find, though I can't be working out and listening to your program. It's like listening to Ravi Zacharias. You have to just stop and listen because the arguments are compelling, and I'm glad for the thing where you can just hit it and listen to it again. And Justin, thank you for your radio program. Thank you for the book, and I look forward to meeting you face-to-face in the future. Until then, continue the great work that you're doing.
Well, bless you. Thank you so much for having me on. And I do hope you enjoy the book and that anyone else who wants to get hold of it enjoys it as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Justin.
Thank you.